The video game industry is a little over 50 years old. In these 5 decades, billions of people have helped shape the culture of the overall video game community, which is stronger than ever today. Okay, that might be a bit of an exaggeration because not everyone who plays video games is necessarily interested in interacting with the rest of the community. However, even if you don't interact with anyone yourself, your actions do have an impact on the larger community. In this video, we will talk a little about video game culture and what can be done to avoid worrying about the negative talk around it. First, let us talk about the video game community itself. What sort of people play video games? The answer to this is easy: all kinds. Playing video games is as common as reading books or watching TV and movies. People of all ages engage in these activities, so trying to group together everyone who plays video games into one community is a bit silly because people of different ages behave differently when performing the same activities. For example, a group of teenagers playing video games might be more interested in competing with each other or with other groups to see who is better. A group of friends in their 30s playing video games might be more interested in talking to each other about their daily lives while not paying too much attention about what's going on in the game. Then there are communities formed around the type of games you like. For example, a community of players that likes relaxing games like Stardew Valley might not be too interested with the latest installment of Call of Duty because those are not the kind of games they usually play. So whenever people use the phrase video game community and then go on to list things that are wrong with it, they're talking about things that may not even apply to a large section of people who play video games. And that's the first aspect of video game culture that I would like to clarify. There are people of different ages playing different sorts of games. If you have a problem with how certain groups of people behave while playing certain types of games, you can simply avoid that particular group of people or those particular games and explore a different type of game altogether. There are so many types of communities formed around so many types of games that I haven't had the time to explore them all even after more than 2 decades. On a similar note, let us talk about toxicity in video games. This word is commonly used to refer to the unpleasant behavior that some people indulge in while playing video games, especially in multiplayer games over the internet. To this, I can only say one thing: no one can control what happens over the internet. So there's no point worrying about why some people behave in a certain way. If you feel disturbed by such behavior, simply avoid playing such games in the first place. There are many peaceful alternatives available for every game. All you need is a bit of research. But the situation isn't all bad. Video game communities are also known to contain some very kind and generous people who take the time to teach newcomers about the ins and outs of a game or help them in-game beat some difficult levels. Such people usually meet in places like Reddit and Discord, and it is relatively safer to interact with them here because any toxic behavior usually means those people are quickly banned from the communities. That said, these places are still part of the internet, so always be cautious about who you interact with. Video game culture can take a while to get used to, and there's all sorts of activities outside of the games that you can participate in if you wish. Cosplaying is one such popular activity that brings together a lot of people. While this idea has been borrowed from the comic book world, it is a natural fit in the world of video games as well because video games are a visual medium and full of interesting characters. Another offline activity that brings together people is attending conferences and award shows. While the oldest video game related conference, E3, was recently put on hiatus, there are other similar shows organized all around the world such as Gamescom, PAX, the Game Awards and many more. There are a few game developer focused events as well, the biggest of which is the Game Developer Conference that is hosted in San Francisco every year. In India, there is a similar event called the India Game Developer Conference that is held in Hyderabad each year. So whether you are a player or a game developer, you can find a suitable community event to attend online or in person bringing you closer to other people who share your passion. But if there's one thing about video game culture that I like, it is that most people do not forget the human element behind all of it. Communities around the world have raised millions of dollars for charitable causes, and whenever a game studio announces mass layoffs, the rest of the industry reaches out to those affected and helps them find new jobs. There's a lot about video game culture that can improve in many ways, but hey, we have only had 50 years so far, and we are still learning. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.